here, and I want to chime on a situation that's going on with Gary, Indiana. Um, I mean, it is the talk of the YouTube streets and on the mainstream media. First of all, I just want to say my heart goes out to those people in Gary, Indiana, and that's got to be um, a horrible experience for them. And I can imagine that is aside from them feeling scared and frustrated and alone, I can almost bet the farm that they are feeling some sort of deception or they're getting reminiscences, especially those that can remember back in the day of what happened with Hurricane Katrina. For those of you that are, um, you know, old enough to remember, that happened, I believe, back in 2005. And I mean, I watched that from beginning to end. And when I tell you guys, that was absolutely horrible the way those people were treated in New Orleans. So the way that happened was, see, New Orleans sits below sea level, and as you all may know, they do have issues with hurricane. As a matter of fact, I believe they're in hurricane season right now, and that particular hurricane wasn't just any hurricane. That hurricane um, reached levels where people that lived in two-story buildings had to climb out of their basements and get on top of the roofs. The water was so high that they had to get on top of the roofs and wait for help. And when I tell you, bodies were floating in the water, I mean, it was just horrific. A lot of the people were able to be evacuated, but they were evacuated um, to the dome, that big dome. I forgot what they call it, but it's in New Orleans, and it's the dome. It's the dome where they have. I forgot what they call it. I hate it's at the tip of my tongue. The Astro Dome, one of those domes where they placed all these thousands of people, families, elderly, sick, newborns, you name it. Everybody was um, at the Astrodome, I believe, and they were there for days. They had people sleeping on cots. They were running out of water. I mean, you can just imagine the heat and the humidity that people had to deal with, just like Gary, Indiana. No showering, food was scarce. Um, People didn't know where their loved, but I think Hurricane Katrina was a little bit worse. But it does put me in mind of how the black community is being treated in Gary, Indiana, and then compared to how it was with Hurricane Katrina. Hence why I'm making this live, is because it's like, yeah, as I was stating, I don't want to jump from one, situation to the next, but yeah, those people suffered a lot. The humidity, food was scarce. They didn't know where their loved ones were. There was no phone service. And it seemed like FEMA was taking forever to help these people. Um, the mayor he ended up getting fired, getting let go. He was being scrutinized, just like this mayor in Indiana. But I think it's only so much the mayors can do, especially when it comes to these predominantly black areas. I do believe that it's trickling down from the top, of how much assistance can be brought in and how much, help can be given. It has to come from the top because a lot of these cities, they cannot handle this on that scale when it's a natural disaster of that magnitude. So yeah, they're looking for some resources and some help for people. So yeah, it was. Oh, I went on for days. To make a long story short about New Orleans back then when it was Hurricane Katrina, well, everybody had to be, the people that did survive it had to be bused to other states. So what they did was they came in, what a lot of them do, once the property value goes down, which it already probably wasn't that far, and then the hurricane just came in and just made it even less value. Everything was destroyed. New Orleans had to be built up from the ground. Of course, the developers came in and swept it up. And I guess you could say they did their own gentrification. I guess that's what you want to call it. And pushed all those people out of their homes. And they had to be bused to all these different neighboring states to rebuild. They even made a documentary about Katrina. You can go in, it's on Netflix. You can look it up. It may even be on YouTube, where they brought in people to talk about, the different stages and the different trials and tribulations that these people had to deal with Hurricane Katrina. It was that, for those of you that know, you know. For more of the Gen Z, if you're listening, generation may not know so much. But yeah, it was a huge, huge thing, where they were just leaving these people out, hung out to dry. Um, it was bad. But once it was all settled and FEMA did finally kick in, I think everybody was getting FEMA. I lived in Long Beach, California. I think I even got a FEMA check from the hurricane. But yeah, they really started, once it got notoriety and bad publicity. And it was an outrage and an outcry. I mean, everybody, celebrities, people from different states, governors, mayors, everybody was chiming in on that, and not in a good way, of how people were being treated. And then now here we are, fast forward to 2026, we're having the same issue in Gary, Indiana. And not just Gary, but this is the longest. I mean, there have been other states like, what is it, North Carolina. I think they had an issue with FEMA. Texas, where help wasn't coming fast enough. All of those, states. Now we have Gary, Indiana. Um, those poor people being without electricity. I think I've heard that some of the electricity has been restored, now that it's been put to the forefront, and they're getting backlash from it, but it shouldn't take this. These are human beings, these are lives, and then when natural disasters come, quite naturally, they're going to need some help. But I do hope that they have gotten more help for Gary, Indiana, in terms of getting their services turned back on. I do know that some celebrities did, maybe a couple, working in the background, may have sent in some resources for them. Um, I believe a popular influence, or he did step up and help. I believe he does food critic YouTube. I can't think of his name either. There's so many of them. But it'll come to me once I'm off of this live. But yeah, memory ain't what it used to be, y'all. But yeah, I just want to close by saying I do really hope that Gary, Indiana, does get, the resources and the relief that they need, and that it did not turn into a situation like Hurricane Katrina. Nobody wants to see that, and nobody wants that to happen again. No state should have to go through that when there's a natural disaster. I don't care what community it is. I don't care how much predominantly ethnicity is in this certain area. People need help, especially if they're paying their bills. And I heard their bills are not cheap when it comes to electricity. People paying for this stuff. So quite naturally, they deserve to get the same treatment and respect and resources afforded to them as anybody else in these other states or what have you. But yeah, guys, for those of you that missed the live, it's cool. You can go ahead and recap this. Drop a chit chat if you want to chime in. No trolling, no disrespect. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe. If you like the video live, go ahead and like it. It's free. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell each time I drop a chit chat or get notified when there's another live. Until then, you guys have a great day. Peace in the Middle East.